Let us continue the anemia, iron deficiency, of course. Physiological approach to anemia. Pathophysiological approach to anemia. Anemia, what could be the causes of anemia? In our first lecture, reduction in the RBC number. So just by common sense, you just think when the RBC number will be released. First, if the production is less, this is that. If something is wrong with the RBCs, this is that. And if there is a destruction of the RBCs, destruction or loss of the RBCs. Let us consider one by one. Pathophysiological approach to anemia can be divided into three categories. One, where the production is reduced, where there is a much more destruction of the RBCs, and third, something wrong goes with the red cells or RBCs. Let us take this. Production of the RBCs is reduced. When it could be reduced? When there is a deficiency of various factors which are needed for the formation of the blood. In our first lecture, I have told you that a long list of the factors which are necessary for the formation of the blood. Protein, vitamins, iron, and so on. So this is there. Vitamin. If it is deficient, RBCs will not be formed. Iron, again iron deficiency, no production of the RBCs. Or something wrong with the cellularity of the marrow. Cellularity of the marrow, I mean the stem cell, pluripotential stem cell, which ultimately produce all the three RBC, WBC and platelets, the three series of the blood cells. If something is wrong, could be because of some drugs, could be because of radiation, or some congenital defect, or maybe because of some tumor malignancies that will affect the bone marrow cellularity, and ultimately the production of the RBC will be not there. Environment of the marrow, again almost same. Whatever the particular environment is required, say just hypoxia of the marrow will definitely affect the formation of all the three series, and we are more interested in the production of the RBCs, that will be less. Proteins, again they are necessary for the production of the blood, RBCs. If amino acid supply is less, because globin is nothing but the protein is nothing but the amino acids. If amino acid supply is less or deficient, will cause reduced production of the RBCs, again anemia. Let us take these RBCs. I will just draw a diagram of RBC. This is the diagram of RBC. When you think about RBC, you always imagine it is a very minute, very tiny bag of hemoglobin. A bag with hemoglobin which is very flexible. It can change its shape in this direction, that direction, downwards, upwards, in any form, in any shape. That is the RBC. The RBC has only two important structures. One is the RBC membrane, the cell membrane, and second, it contains hemoglobin. Only two things. So, when something is wrong with the RBC, it means that something wrong with the either membrane or something wrong with the hemoglobin. If something is wrong with the membrane, there are two conditions where the shape of RBC, which is otherwise on laterally, if I draw the lateral view of the RBC, this is somehow, it looks from the lateral side. But in case of spherocytosis, the shape of the RBC, this is the lateral view. The shape of the RBC become very spherical, just like your football. Spherical. This RBC just like a disc, the normal RBC. Disc shape is normal RBC, and from sideways it looks like this. But in case of spherocytosis, it is a complete sphere, just like a football. This condition is called as spherocytosis. Here something goes wrong with the membrane and the RBC become very spherical. That is one condition. This is spherocytosis. Second, the shape of the RBC is elliptical. Elliptical, just like this. This elliptical shape, in that condition, the RBC is called as, that condition particular name is elliptocytosis. Elliptocytosis, spherical spherocytosis. Elliptocytosis is not that common. Spherocytosis definitely. And because of this abnormal shape, either elliptical shape or spherical shape, what happens when the RBC try to passes through some very minute pores of the capillaries? Now, this shape, which is otherwise a large shape and unable to pass through a very minute pore, it get burst, and that is what nothing but the hemolysis. And hemolysis ultimately results into reduction in the RBCs. So anemia. The almost same is the case with the elliptocytosis, right? Third could be the effect of the enzymes on this RBC. The example, the commonest example is G6PD deficiency. If this enzyme is deficient, that causes the hemolysis, that is the lysis of the RBC or breakdown of the RBC, right? We will continue on the board. Okay, just continue on the board. Membrane defect, you get spherocytosis or elliptocytosis. Defect in the hemoglobin, you get so many hemoglobinopathies. For example, thalassemia, beta thalassemia major, beta thalassemia minor, or alpha thalassemia, or sickle cell anemia, or hemoglobin C, hemoglobin E. There are so many hemoglobinopathies. They say that there are about 101 hemoglobinopathies. That is the abnormal hemoglobin. That is the example of some change in the or abnormality in the hemoglobin. Third, that I already told you about the enzyme which acts on the RBC, and ultimately there is a breakdown of the RBC. So ultimately all these conditions are resulting into the reduction in the RBCs, anemia. Third, destruction or loss of the RBCs. Loss, usually it could be acute loss, as you get in cases of some accidents, or chronic gradual loss, usually because of some GIT conditions, loss of blood in the stools, blood loss in the stool, or hemolysis. Hemolysis, again, there are three conditions here where you can get the hemolysis. First, some immunoglobulins. The immunoglobulins, nothing but the antibodies. These antibodies could be of even autoimmune nature. Means the antibodies which are otherwise are supposed to protect the body but not protecting the body, they are acting against the body. The example is Rh negative mother and Rh positive baby. The antibodies, anti-D antibodies, they directly act on the blood of the baby and there is a hemolysis. Non-immune, there are some causes of non-immune hemolysis, and hypersplenism. The function of the spleen, definitely storage of the blood, then it has a definite some role in the immunity. And third important role is the age of the RBC is about 120 days. After that lifespan, the RBC has to die. How the things happen? The RBCs, they are taken up by the spleen, and in the spleen they are destroyed. The aged RBCs, the chronic RBCs or the RBCs, those the life is 120 or plus. They are taken by the spleen and they are destroyed there. The hemolysis occurs in the spleen. But there are certain medical conditions or surgical conditions where the size of the spleen gradually increases. That particular phase of the spleen is called as hypersplenism. if the size of the spleen is more, large size of the spleen, ultimately the spleen will take more and more RBCs, and more RBCs will be destroyed or destructed. So ultimately the hypersplenism is the ultimate cause of hemolysis resulting into anemia. Right? We will continue further. Now I am highlighting this iron here. Because we are interested more in iron deficiency anemia. So we will be taking so many conditions here. There is a very long list of iron deficiency anemia. And say for example, the nutritional anemia of prematurity, anemia of infancy, then anemia due to diet, the diet is fat diet, means junk food. So in the next slide, I will be giving a long list of the causes of iron deficiency anemia. We will continue on that slide. Let us continue iron deficiency anemia. Today's topic is causes of iron deficiency anemia. Causes of iron deficiency anemia. The iron deficiency anemia is also known as nutritional anemia. Nutritional anemia means definitely something is wrong with the nutrition. It's nothing but there is a loss or there is a deficiency of iron in the nutrition. The causes very common. If you just think that if there is something wrong with the nutrition, that could be the causes of iron deficiency anemia. Another group will be again something is not properly getting absorbed from the intestine. Ultimately, those conditions could be the causes of iron deficiency anemia. And certain other conditions like pregnancy, adolescent, or the poor diet. This could be the causes of iron deficiency anemia. If you just think and write them, it will make a long list like this. Let us see. Nutritional deficiency of iron. This is usually in the cases of the infants. These conditions are very simple. You just think, put your common sense there, and you will get the condition that the baby is not properly given food, I mean milk, or the baby is not weaned properly, or baby is severely premature, or the baby is given cow's milk for a long time. This could be the causes of iron deficiency anemia in the infancy. Similarly, the women, pregnant lady, if IUD is used, menses and multiple pregnancies. Adolescent, then something wrong with the GIT absorption like chronic diarrhea, or patient has malabsorption syndrome like SPRU or Crohn's disease, and so on. Then chronic infection like tuberculosis, stomach problem, inflammatory problem like juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and something wrong with the absorption with the vitamin C is not there, vegetarianism, poor diet, and so on. Let us consider one by one. We will go on the another board. Now let us continue all these conditions one by one. The first condition, nutritional deficiency of iron in the infant. These are 4 conditions. One is prematurity, another is cow's milk, third is delayed weaning or no weaning, and fourth is the anemia of the infancy. Let us consider first the prematurity. The anemia of prematurity is considered clinically into 3 phases. First phase is start right from the birth, very shortly from the birth, and it takes about 7 to 8 weeks. What happens in this period? There is no proper erythropoiesis, rather the erythropoietic activity is depressed. So ultimately it has to be anemic condition. What happens in the second phase? In the second phase, there is a gradually increase in the hemoglobin, which was 8 to 9.5%, not more than that in the first phase. Now there is slight increase in the hemoglobin, means some erythropoietic activity is going on. When you take the peripheral smear, you will get some conditions of anemia as well as hemoglobin percentage. You will not get there is a rise in the hemoglobin percentage. If you take the capillary blood, the hemoglobin percentage will not be raised. Why this happens? Because though the hemoglobin is increasing, the RBC count is gradually increasing. The RBC count increased is not directly proportional to the increase of blood volume. In other words, the blood is diluted. The RBCs are diluted. So in the PS also you do not get the normal or normocytic hypochromic, and also you do not get the proper or normal hemoglobin level. What happens in the third phase? Now first 2 months, next 2 months means already 4 months has gone. When the baby is 4 months old and premature, now here the erythropoietic activities, they are fast. Means RBCs, they are growing, number of RBCs, they are increasing. At the same time, hemoglobin synthesis, that process has also increased. But at this point of time, they need iron. If they are not given iron, not supplemented with proper iron, then it will be a case of iron deficiency anemia. That is the anemia of prematurity. Second, cow's milk. If the baby is on cow's milk, why on cow's milk? Usually, if the baby is adopted or baby is not given the formula feed which is fortified with the iron, or baby has no mother, the motherless baby, not properly parented mother. In these conditions, probably the mother is nursed by some relatives, usually sometimes by the grandmother, and they do not know what to give. Usually they give some traditional food like cow's milk. When cow's milk is given and the patient in that condition comes a case of iron deficiency anemia, the signs are the baby is pale, there is anemia, sometimes you get the whole body is swollen, the baby is edematous, and irritability is there. These are the findings of the cow's milk, the baby who is continuously on cow's milk. Why it happens? Because there are two main reasons. One, the cow's milk contains very low quantity of iron. Number two, the cow's milk is not properly tolerated by the baby, and there is some sensitive issues in the intestine of the baby which causes some bleeding, and so that bleeding is lost, that blood is lost into the stools. So this gradual loss of blood into the stool, and the cow's milk does not contain proper iron. These two causes ultimately lands the baby into severe type of iron deficiency anemia, as well as there is some hypoproteinemia. So as there is a hypoproteinemia, the baby has generalized edema sometimes, and of course other signs of iron deficiency anemia. So this is another case of cow's milk. So the baby should not be kept completely on cow's milk. The baby should be given some iron supplementation at that age. Delayed or no weaning. Again, this is more or less parallel to cow's milk. Here the baby is not weaned at the proper age, which is 6 months, and when it is not weaned, so ultimately the baby is continue to take mother's milk. Mother's milk contain iron, but the proportion of iron content are very less, which ultimately cause the iron deficiency anemia. Or sometimes baby is not weaned, that will definitely cause the iron deficiency anemia. If the baby is weaned but there is some delay, and after delay the baby is not given proper food material which contains the iron, this could be the causes for the IDA ultimately. And anemia of infancy. This is the commonest cause of nutritional anemia in the infant. I will repeat. Anemia of infancy is the most common cause of nutritional anemia in the infant. It presents around 9 months of age, and ultimately the baby is usually diagnosed when baby is brought to the doctor for vaccination or some upper respiratory infection or some bacterial infection. That time this case of anemia is revealed, because these babies do not have much serious symptoms and signs. So the case goes unnoticed but get diagnosed when they visit the doctor. These are the 4 conditions in the infants. So you keep in mind when there is a prematurity or not properly weaned properly or cow's milk for a long time. These are the commonest causes of iron deficiency anemia in the infant. Let us take another board. Just we have seen nutritional deficiency of iron in the infant. Means definitely the nutrition is deficient of iron and nothing else. Let us consider the second condition in the women. In the women, pregnancy, that you know, and you can consider how could be the cause of anemia in pregnancy. IUD, when IUD is used, it causes sometimes bleeding. The bleeding could be a menstrual bleeding will be increased, that could be the one condition, or in the mid cycles there could be some bleeding. So this bleeding can cause IDA. Then multiple pregnancy. If the mother has 4 or more than 4 children, this ultimately could be the cause of IDA. Sometimes other conditions like menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, then dysfunctional uterine bleeding, this could be the causes of anemia in the women. Adolescent, in the adolescent there is a sudden acceleration of the growth, that is from the 12 years to the 18 years, this period is the adolescent period. This is more affected in case of the girls, adolescent girls, because in adolescent girls the loss of blood is during the menstruation, that is the additional cause. So it is more severe type of iron deficiency anemia in case of adolescent girls as compared to the boys. Some GIT conditions, malabsorption syndrome, if patient has chronic diarrhea or patient has sprue or Crohn's disease, this ultimately disturb with the iron absorption from the intestine and can cause iron deficiency anemia. Then worm infestation, roundworm infestation, hookworm infestation, that causes, again in roundworm infestation, I will explain one thing. When such patient has iron deficiency anemia, they have a habit of pica. During pica, what they do, they just eat dirt. On eating the dirt also contains the ova and cyst of the worms. Means ultimately they are eating these worms in the form of ova. Then what next happens? These worms now causing iron deficiency anemia. And iron deficiency anemia is causing pica. So this becomes a sort of vicious cycle in case of roundworm infestation. In hookworm infestation, there is a loss of blood. These are the causes of, commonest causes of iron deficiency anemia in the children. Or there is some chronic infection like tuberculosis of the intestine. Again, it causes IDA. Inflammatory condition, the juvenile type of rheumatoid arthritis that causes iron deficiency anemia. But differentiating JRA from a plain and simple case of iron deficiency anemia is not difficult, because in rheumatoid arthritis there will be a swollen joints and other signs of JRA. So differentiating it from iron deficiency anemia is not difficult. But when you take the PS is microcytic hypochronic type of anemia. Then you need to be differentiate from the other cases like JRA. If something is wrong with the stomach, some diseases of the stomach which are directly related to the reduced secretion of the gastric acid, or sometimes some part of the stomach is resected, what we say is partial gastrectomy. Definitely that could be the very important cause for the IDA. Vegetarianism. This is very interesting. Vegetarianism usually in religious people. Those who are strictly vegetarian, they eat the food which is not containing sufficient amount of iron. The iron is in the form of non-heme type of iron. The non-heme type of iron, which ultimately these are nothing but the cereals, nuts, some fruits, green leafy vegetables. Ultimately, this non-heme type of iron contents, they are absorbed, but their absorption is very low and very slow. Their absorption is hardly 5% or below 5%. And if the vegetarian person, while taking his food, if there is some ups and downs in taking the food, this less than 5% will again come to 1% or even below that. And that will land ultimately that vegetarian person to the IDA. Otherwise, the non-vegetarian person who is eating the food which contains the source of iron in the form of heme, the absorption is up to 30%. So there are hardly any chance of getting iron deficiency anemia in case of non-vegetarian persons. Then lack of vitamin C, that we have already discussed it in the last lecture. Poor diet. Here mentally retarded children is very important condition. The mentally retarded children, they cannot properly chew the food, they cannot properly swallow. Ultimately, the total quantity of the food, whatever they need, even though the food may contain proper iron, but total quantity of the food is not what they ultimately require. So they are underfed. These conditions could be in case of the child who is mentally retarded, maybe along with cerebral palsy, and this ultimately leads to iron deficiency anemia. If the patient is sick for a long time, not taking orally, then doctor has to give intravenous fluid along with sometimes some protein supplementation, some carbohydrates. And what we ultimately say this condition is total parenteral nutrition. But total parenteral nutrition or the intravenous alimentation, that is not sufficient enough to give all the nutrients, and what ultimately happens, the iron is also not given. So these patients are liable to get iron deficiency anemia. So the prolonged intravenous alimentation ultimately cause iron deficiency anemia in such patients. Or if the food, fed food, if the patient is not taking the proper nutritious food which contains iron, for example taking junk food like Maggies, these substances or these food articles do not contain proper iron. So ultimately such children, they are bound to get iron deficiency anemia, right? Okay.